Today, we're not going to talk about a series, but about a movie that combines two elements that always captivate us: music and animation. Today, we're talking about Blue Giant. So get ready, because after watching this video, you'll probably want to learn to play the saxophone, drums, or piano, or at least listen to some jazz. Released in 2023, Blue Giant is an adaptation of the acclaimed jazz manga written by Shinichi Ishizuka. The studio behind this gem is Studio Nut, known for previous works like Yujo Senki and Decadence. Although Studio Nut doesn't have a huge list of productions, they have shown an impressive ability to adapt different genres, from brutal action to more intimate dramas. With Blue Giant, they managed to bring the complexity of jazz to the screen, capturing everything from improvisation to the raw emotions conveyed by each note. This is undoubtedly one of their most ambitious projects. The film was directed by Yuzuru Tachikawa, a name you'll probably recognize if you're a fan of Mob Psycho 100 or Death Parade. Tachikawa is a master at taking stories with unique concepts and giving them incredible visual treatment, and Blue Giant is no exception. In this project, he faced the challenge of representing an abstract art form like jazz music in a visual medium, and he did it with a subtlety and emotion that only someone with his experience could achieve. The story follows the life of Dai Miyamoto, a young man who dreams of becoming the best jazz saxophonist in the world. From the start of the movie, we see him obsessed with jazz. Though he comes from a small town and lacks formal musical training, Dai dives headfirst into his dream of becoming the best saxophonist. Throughout the film, his determination and passion are evident in every rehearsal and performance, even though his technique isn't polished at first. His approach to music is visceral, almost instinctive, which sometimes puts him at odds with other more academically trained musicians. Dai is not alone in this story. He forms a jazz trio with two other people who have a completely different connection to music than he does. First, let's talk about Yukinori Sawabe, the most complex and sophisticated member of the band, with a much stronger musical background than his peers, having learned to play piano at age 4. His mother is a major influence on him, as she not only plays the piano, but also teaches it. At the beginning of the movie, we meet Yukinori as an arrogant and somewhat distant pianist studying music at a prestigious university. He struggles to understand Dai's unorthodox approach to jazz, but eventually, he becomes intrigued by the rawness and authenticity he sees in the saxophonist's playing. Yukinori's big dilemma throughout the story is that although he's technically excellent, he lacks improvisation, and in jazz, that's what makes the difference between being memorable or forgettable. As the movie progresses, Yukinori transitions from being a calculated musician to a core member of the band, learning to let the music guide him and play with more emotion. Now, let's move on to the last band member, Shunji Tamada. He's the drummer of the group and a much more laid-back and cheerful character compared to the other two. Dai and Tamada have known each other since childhood because they attended the same school. Tamada lives a calm life in Tokyo without many issues. He attends university and plays soccer, a sport he's passionate about, as seen by the posters in his apartment. However, he feels frustrated, unable to reach his full potential, and lacking a clear goal. This frustration is evident in class, where he looks bored, or during soccer practice, where his teammates don't take the sport as seriously as he does. One day he runs into Dai and sees him practicing the saxophone. In that moment, he catches Dai's love for jazz and feels like he's found what he was looking for, something to give meaning to his monotonous, dull life. After this revelation, he decides to learn to play the drums. He becomes so involved in his new goal that he quits soccer and drops out of university, fully committing to jazz as his new life goal. Another key element of the movie is the references to famous jazz musicians throughout the story. This shows the manga author's deep love for jazz. The characters name or listen to artists like John Coltrane, a jazz legend and one of the greatest influences in saxophone history. Coltrane is an idol for Dai Miyamoto, who aspires to play with the same intensity and emotion. The movie reflects Coltrane's impact on contemporary jazz musicians and mentions his legacy as a key reference in Dai's quest to become a great saxophonist. Another big reference is Miles Davis and his iconic album Kind of Blue, considered one of the most important albums in jazz history. In the realm of drums, Art Blakey is mentioned as an influence for Shunji Tamada. His explosive energy and ability to lead a band from the drums inspire Shunji, who seeks to replicate that energy in his own performances. Though indirectly, the influence of pianists like Herbie Hancock can be felt in Yukinori Sawabe, who has a technical and modern approach to piano, similar to Hancock. So far, everything's looking good. We've met the band members, we know they love jazz, and we also know their musical influences. But what really makes this movie so good? One thing that makes Blue Giant special is how it uses animation to complement the music. Throughout the film, jazz isn't just the backdrop, it's another character. The fluid animation and transitions between the calmer moments and the intense musical solos truly immerse you in the experience. Additionally, sound plays a crucial role. From the interpretation of musical pieces to the small sonic details, everything contributes to making you feel like you're attending a live jazz concert. But what really steals the show is the character development and how they evolve throughout the story. We see them go from learning to play their instruments to performing at Tokyo's most prestigious jazz club. We witness how their hard work and dedication pay off, how they face frustrations and overcome them. It shows us that success doesn't come easy. It takes many steps to reach the final goal. In summary, Blue Giant isn't just a movie about chasing dreams, but also a love letter to jazz. The work by Studio Nut, along with the direction of Yuzuru Tachikawa, gives us a deeply emotional story while also offering a unique visual and auditory experience. If you enjoy stories about personal growth, passion, or you simply love jazz, this movie is for you. Don't miss it. What would you like us to talk about in the next video? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.